I would first like to thank everyone for coming in today to take time to see this year's Capstone presentations. My project is centered around ocean pollution reduction. A little background into this: marine pollution is a growing problem in today's world. Marine trash encompasses all manufactured products, most of them plastic, that end up in the ocean. Littering, storm winds, and poor waste management all contribute to the accumulation of this debris, as we can see in Figure 1, and about 80% of that come from land-based activities. This could be shopping bags, cigarette butts, bottle caps, food wrappers, and fishing gear. Plastic waste is particularly problematic as a pollutant because it is so long-lasting and it can take up to 100 years to decompose. Trash poses dangers to both humans and animals. Fish become tangled and injured in the debris, and some animals mistake items like plastic bags for food and they eat them. Small organisms feed on tiny bits of broken down plastic called microplastic and absorb the chemicals from the plastic into their tissues. Through this, microplastic pollution migrates up the food chain and eventually becoming part of the food that humans eat. A lot of the trash that are mismanaged eventually end up in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which are the swirling garbage zones in the ocean. The amount of trash in these zones accumulates because much of it is not biodegradable, like plastic. Some of you might be thinking, why can't we just clean this up? The big problem is cleaning up marine debris is not as easy as it sounds. It is logistically impossible to clean up because it is so far away from any country's coastline. No nation will take responsibility or provide the funding to clean it up. Charles Moore, the man who discovered the vortex, says cleaning up the garbage would bankrupt any country that tried it. Many microplastics are also the same size as small sea animals, so nets designed to scoop up trash would catch these creatures as well. Even if we design nets that would just catch garbage, the size of the ocean makes this job far too time-consuming to consider. So instead, trans prevention and cleanup has been one of the ways to mitigate the amount of trash that ends up in the ocean to prevent the garbage patch from growing. This is where the mobile app trash tracking comes in. My research question is, how can mobile apps help address the growing problem of marine pollution? Last summer, I worked for the Environmental Protection Agency as a Water Division intern in their Trash-Free Waters program. My focus was developing a beta trash tracking mobile app that has the ability to track data on trash types and amounts, as well as what areas pose the greatest risks to humans and wildlife, based on the EPA's Escape Trash Assessment Protocol. To tackle this objective, I interviewed several members of the Trash Free Waters program team to get a sense of what goals they wanted to accomplish through this app. I then interviewed 3 mobile app creators to gain knowledge of the process of creating a mobile app to address environmental issues. And finally, I gathered a summary of what this beta app needs to contain for it to be user-friendly, engaging, and effective, and collaborated with the EPA's graphics and design team to bring it to life. Essentially, once this mobile app is up and running, how it will work is you take a picture of a piece of litter, you discard it properly, and tag the photo as whatever category it might be, such as plastic or paper. The app will then keep track of who the user picked up, what type of trash. A geotag will then tell where it was picked up, and a timestamp will tell us when it was picked up. All this information is then uploaded to a database, which will then be available for anyone to see and use to propel environmental policies and cleanup. All of this information will provide a way to make the waste management problem measurable, allowing anyone to pinpoint the source of the problem and paving the way towards a solution. A great example of this is I actually found an app called Literati that is very similar to what I was trying to create for the EPA. Their data actually has been used in court to double the amount of taxes on cigarettes, generating an annual revenue of $4 million to clean up the city of San Francisco. If you could generate a revenue stream just by understanding the percentage of cigarettes and the amount of mishandled trash, then what about coffee cups, soda cans, or plastic bottles? This is very much possible to do all across the United States as well as over the world. Individually, we can each make a difference, but together we can make an impact. Before closing off, I'd like to thank Anna Wieman, Christy Strauss, and Margaret McCulley. You have all been incredibly supportive throughout my capstone experience.